If you're interested in KnapEasy or even brand new to working KnapEasy, this is going to be a great video for you to watch so you can learn a little about it. Once you figure it out, just like any other material, it has its own little nuances and you kind of have to build a relationship with it and get to know it. It's very easy to work, but you still have to knap it. It's not going to knap itself. But once you learn how to do it, it'll probably be the easiest material that you've ever used in your life. So at this point in the game, we've actually made over 7,000 of these pieces so far, and we're still going strong. So we've got a pretty good idea of how this process is working out. And so now this is a great time to teach you guys what to expect when you're working KnapEasy. First, we'll look at a couple of our standard sized and shaped spalls. So now for those also interested in larger pieces, depending on when you're watching this video, we do have larger pieces and different shapes in the works, and they might already be out if you're watching this and you're late to the party. And if you're just watching this video brand new, just know that they are in the works. And stick around at the end too, because we're probably going to talk about some of these pieces that might look a little wonky to begin with. They might have a lot of concavity or maybe some propeller twisting or warping in them, and you might think, man, these ones aren't very good. And the reality is they're still really good. In fact, you're going to be able to see me make a really nice little point out of one of these warped pieces, and we'll include that information at the end. So this is one of our KnapEasy original spalls. So this is the original shape and size, and so let's do a walk around on it so at least you know what to expect going forward with this. But this is also probably going to apply to a lot of the other larger mixed shapes and sizes of pieces that are soon to be coming out. These were originally designed to be arrowhead sized spalls. So I make a lot of arrowheads for hunting. It is, there you go. KnapEasy point. Even held up. It's a little worse for wear.
You got it though.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a nice eater, Sal. And getting good materials is sometimes getting harder and harder to get. And I wanted to be able to create something that a lot of people could just make a lot of arrowheads out of. Now, it doesn't look like it's that big, but in reality, when you get pretty good at it, you can actually take this size spall and actually make a pretty sizable atlatl point out of it. So this is actually a pretty decent sized atlatl point, and it's actually much too big to use as an arrowhead. So there's actually a lot of wiggle room in these spalls to work them down into proper arrowhead size pieces. And they may not look very big, but that's exactly the idea behind the original KnapEasy spall, was to make something that was arrowhead size that didn't have a tremendous amount of waste. In fact, whenever I make mine personally, these are a little bit too big still, so I usually take broken ones that I don't send to customers, and then those are the ones that I use, ones that already have chipped corners or whatnot. But typically, this size right here is going to give you quite a bit of wiggle room in making mistakes, so you can still get a good, serviceable hunting arrowhead out of it by the time you're done. And if you're pretty good at knapping, you're going to be able to get some of these larger atlatl points from these standard size spalls. One of the great things about KnapEasy, it's very consistent from piece to piece, meaning that it all works just about the same. There might be some very, very slight differences in some of the colors just based on the different minerals that are added. It's not as simple as, say, just putting a drop of paint in here and changing the colors. Now, it's actually a lot of different minerals that are mixed in the original recipe, and sometimes that does alter the knappability, but only very, very slightly. In fact, we're probably going to eliminate just the white version before too long, because the colors actually knap better than the white. So the white is a little easier to break yet, but the color stuff, all the different colors really they add a little bit of stiffness to the edge, and so they actually knap better than just the pure white. And the pure white naps great. It just typically requires a lot of abrading. I also have several other videos knapping KnapEasy and turning them into various points, and if you would like to actually watch those long form videos, you can go to YouTube, and in the YouTube search bar type in Hunt Primitive KnapEasy, and I'm sure you'll have several videos pop up. So let's look at some of the attributes of these average spalls. Again, this is the average size and shape. It's about 2 inches wide by 3.5 inches long. A great size, especially for learning to knap. They're all going to have this concavity, this concave base on them, okay? It's just the nature of how they're manufactured. It's almost unavoidable. And then on this side is more of that turtleback size shape, but you'll also notice that there's a lot of ridges that are planned into this, and that was a very intentional shape that I put together in coming up with this design, because it's going to allow for different platforms that you can run nice long flakes and reduce this back very, very easily. So then keep in mind that this isn't slab knapping. So some people that they just want to be able to, get a saw and cut, slab and then pressure flake the edge and that's it. That's not what KnapEasy is. You still have to actually KnapEasy material, all the different sizes that we have. We don't do a slab form. There's a lot of people that do slabs out there, and if you want to work slabs and that's what you're interested in, then my recommendation would be to go to somebody that does cut and ground slabs, and you can buy those from there. But as far as KnapEasy goes, this product teaches you to still use percussion and indirect percussion to become a skilled flint knapper. And again, we do have many videos showing you how to work this. So this is actually still really good for beginner rock. That's what it was actually invented for. Not beginner because it's the easiest shape to work, but the beginners because it's a really good material. Much, much better than most natural rocks, and it is still all natural. It is an all natural based rock. It's just a man-made version of it, and it knaps very cleanly and it's very consistent from piece to piece. But you still have to learn how to flint knap, and that's what all of the things that you're going to see within these spalls, whether it's the concavity on this side or the convex turtle backing and following ridges, it's actually teaching you to become a better flint knapper. So of course we have several different colors at this point, and they're not even all released to this date, but we have them coming very soon. But a couple other little things to look for. I'd like to show you this one just to keep an eye out for it. We try to do a good job at knocking them off, but at this point we've made over 7,000 of these. It's hard to run through every single one when you're handling hundreds at a time. Keep an eye out for these little burrs and stuff that are on here. They are sharp as the dickens, and this stuff's really sharp. This makes a really sharp hunting point. So if you grab a hold of this, that'll cut you just like grabbing a hold of a natural rock that's got a little burr on it. So treat this stuff with care, okay? You'll have these little burrs sometimes that stick on it. I'm telling you, this stuff's really sharp, so do be careful. Here's another great thing to point out, and that is every one that's even within its same color group is going to be a little bit different. So here's a good example here. This one has some great banding in it that's exposed on the outside. This is the same one, but you can see it's a little bit more plain. It doesn't have quite the same color. But that doesn't mean that there's not color on the inside, and that also doesn't mean that when you knap this, it won't erase it. So just like real rock, you're going to get different levels of banding and swirls and colors and whatnot, but the individual colors typically just give you a theme of what kind of colors are going to be in that particular type. So it is going to be just like real rock, that sometimes you got a pretty piece and you might knap away some of that pretty stuff, and then you'll have another piece that might be kind of bland and it might stay kind of bland, or it might reveal some really pretty stuff on the inside. So expect some color differences. All right, and so lastly, I want to talk about some pieces that have a little bit of like warping or heavy cupping in them, or ugly kind of looking pieces that on the outside. And I want to cover that because the process of making KnapEasy is a very, very specific process. And so when you introduce, say, different color materials or different parts of the process in general, it's not going to be able to produce the same exact thing every single time. And so in some of the pieces that you'll get, you might get some stuff that has some warping or some twisting or some heavy cupping. And I want to talk about that because it's really important. Sometimes people open up boxes and they're just expecting to get some of these normal pieces that are almost exactly the same, but they might look at this one and say, you know, it's got too much cupping, I can't do anything with this. Or, you know, look at all the twist in this one. And then it's like that immediate reaction that, man, this stuff's junk, I don't want to work it. And I'll tell you what, if I send it out, it's because I'm proud of it and I know it's really good material. We don't send junk, okay? So I actually did a whole video taking a piece that looked just like this one. I mean, just like it. And I turned out this point right here. Nice and straight, nice and sharp, great size. It's actually still too big for an arrowhead. So there's plenty of room. Like we talked about before in the normal size pieces, there's actually a lot of wiggle room in this. Something like this, it's not a throwaway. Okay, so you can see the difference between, this is the standard piece of KnapEasy here, and they pretty much all have some cupping. It's just part of the manufacturing process, and it's not a big deal to remove this. We've shown it in the other KnapEasy videos. And then this side has the turtleback side, but all the platforms that we use to dry flakes. So remember, this isn't slab material. This, you have to actually biface and work this out like real rock. But that's the standard piece. So I wanted to take one that some people might look at and not be quite happy with. We started with something that had a lot of twist in it and a lot of concave belly, and we had no problem straightening it out. Just in seconds we straightened it out and turned that perfectly straight, thin, and sharp KnapEasy point out of that. I am able to take this and reduce it down and actually get rid of this propeller twisting very, very easily. So if you see something like this, it doesn't mean that it's a throwaway or you got gypped. This is a very good piece still. There is plenty of thickness to work all of that out and still have a nice flat point at the end of it, and that's why I'll throw the thumbnail up on the screen so you can actually watch that process. These are still very good pieces, and there's an arrowhead in every single one of these, I promise you. And likewise, occasionally, and we mention it on the website as well, that sometimes there's a little bit of chipping or something on one corner. Again, not a big deal. There's a lot of wiggle room in these. And another example might be this one. It's just got a lot of concavity to it, and honestly, it's like the back side of it, it's kind of ugly. Like there's some, looks like some chips and some all kinds of stuff. Remember, you're going to flint knap this. You're going to remove all of it. Don't judge a book by its color. This is still really good material. In fact, if we said, oh, well, we're just anything like this, we're just going to throw it away, we would be throwing away really good material that has a lot of really good points in it, and it would just jack up the price of KnapEasy overall. So don't get discouraged if you do happen to open something up, open up a package and be like, well, this one looks like it's got some pieces out of it, or it's got some concavity here, or this one's got a twist into it. I'm telling you, it's all really good stuff. This is what you should expect in KnapEasy overall, okay? Think of it as a natural rock. No two pieces are going to be exactly the same or perfect. This is not slab knapping. You still have to learn to knap. And I promise you again, a piece like this is actually going to make a beautiful point just like this. So stick with it, test it out, and I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised. So that's it. That's kind of the rundown on what to expect from your KnapEasy. It's phenomenal material. Once you figure it out, just like any other material, it has its own little nuances, and you kind of have to build a relationship with it and get to know it. It's very easy to work, but you still have to knap it. It's not going to knap itself. But once you learn how to do it, it'll probably be the easiest material that you've ever used in your life.